My first guest tonight is quite simply one of the funniest human beings to walk the planet.
Sir Billy Connolly is an actor, artist, and comedy legend. From humble beginnings as a welder turned folk singer in his native Scotland, he quickly found his calling as a stand-up comedian.
You ask a wildebeest, are you a wildebeest? Oh, fuck, you kidding? Wildebeest, I'll be right. I'm one of them stripy things over there.
In a career spanning 5 decades, Billy has performed sell-out stand-up tours all over the world, provided endless iconic TV moments.
He says, is that her? He says, aye. He says, where'd you leave a bum sticking out for? He says, I need somewhere to park my bike.
And even found time to become a Hollywood movie star.
Now, no disrespect intended, sir, but shove it up your ass.
After a Parkinson's disease diagnosis in 2013, he's since stepped away from performing, but in that time he's become an artist, received a knighthood, and has just written and released his first ever autobiography, Windswept and Interesting. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I mean, you probably get this all the time, but you're my hero, so
thank
the
you.
very fact that I get to chat to you is mind-blowing.
That's
really is.
great. I'm glad to hear it.
I really, really enjoyed the book, and I was listening to you in the bath, and it felt like I was sharing a bath with the funniest man in the world.
Great.
So thanks for that. Yeah. So we've had a bath together. And it's called Windswept and Interesting.
Yes.
For those that don't know, can you explain the concept of being windswept and interesting?
Yeah, I had velvet clothes on doing a gig, and a friend of mine said to me, "Oh, you look all windswept and interesting," and I loved it. I adopted it as my byword.
And can anyone become windswept and
Yes,
interesting?
you can become windswept and interesting. All you need to do is don't give a toss.
What I love about you reading the book is you have such a fondness for such an array of things. Snow globes, curry, nipple rings. Like,
Yes.
have you always had this kind of, this
Yes.
fondness of slightly strange things?
I've always been out there.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't feel out there when you're there. It feels perfectly normal.
What does it feel like to have the nipple piercing? What is that like?
It was the best. It's the best high you'll ever have.
Really?
Needle goes in. Yeah, it's like being struck by lightning. I was high for days.
Given that it gave you such a high, were you sort of tempted to kind of go nipple, sort of penis, really sort of mix it up and see what we can do?
I was filming in the Thames one day, and a little punk guy showed me his penis ring.
Right.
He said you should get this. Prince Albert.
But, so hang on, so he said you should get this. That could have been interpreted in a very different way.
Yeah. Life can be dangerous.
Now, you have a chapter in the book called Misbehaving in Public. It's about how much you miss human contact. And as such a people person, I was wondering how you've got on during the pandemic, not being able to be with people.
I found it amazingly good, amazingly healthy.
Really?
Well, the family were all stuck in the house and we had to get along. And not that it was any trouble. My wife's laughing. We had to get along. It's just it was absolutely on the board that you must get along now. And it's a prison sentence, it's a year. And we had to do it, and it was easy. We've all got along. And I do nothing. I do absolutely nothing because I'm the sick man. They make my dinner and make my bed. Everybody was happy. It was great.
So in a sense, it was wonderful for you because you were just surrounded by people you love, led in bed, watching telly.
Absolutely.
Now, I wanted to go through, if it's possible, the absolutely fantastic rules you have for being windswept and interesting because they're beautiful. They're like little mantras for life. The first is you have to genuinely not give a fuck for what any other living human being thinks of you.
That's hard. Because you internally give a fuck. You naturally give a fuck. But you have to work at not giving a fuck.
How do you work at that, do you think?
Yeah, you just convince yourself that you're on the right track.
Yeah, right. And I love this. Say the first thing that comes into your mind and don't worry about what might happen to you as a result.
That's right.
Because but presumably, what that gives you as a performer is that's why you've had such authenticity and such
You're
humour.
judged on the way you do it. You're not judged on the thing itself. You're judged on the fact that you stood there and said it.
Did you ever feel like you had to tone down as a performer? Did you ever feel pressure?
Yeah, but it soon wore off.
Yeah.
You can't watch it and be funny. You can't watch yourself and guard yourself that way and still be funny. You have to go for it.
She's walking along Argyle Street, there's loads of traffic. Tram cars, motorcycles, and she sees a child running across the street. My God! She puts her shopping bag down, away onto the street, grabs the child, runs to the pavement. But it's a wee man. Fuck off,
Being incorrect is funny. When you're not a comedian, when you're just a guy working in a factory or doing whatever you do, and your mates tell stories, they talk about things you would never talk about on the stage.
Yeah, but what's really fascinating, we have this sort of strange situation at the minute where comedians are being reviewed like presidents, and presidents can get away with doing whatever they want.
Absolutely.
And this is the one I really love. Seek the company of people who, when left alone in a room with a tea cosy, will always try it on.
That's right.
Do you know what? I remember
thought I was
watching
mentally ill when I was a wee boy, because as soon as I got to her house, I used to put the tea cosy on.
What I love about that is I have a really vivid memory of seeing you do that story on TV and feeling like part of the gang because I had done that. And my mum had done that, and we'd all, without ever telling each other, we'd done this little thing, and it's like you were in the corner. You kind of brought my family together. It was an unbelievable moment of respite and silliness and connection.
That's lovely. That'll happen more and more.
I wondered with stuff like that, were you aware of the importance that people in Britain felt for you?
No, I wasn't until I come off the stage. Till I stopped doing concerts. And there was such a payback from the audience. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that people had liked me that much.
They adored you, yeah.
Breathtaking. It's quite frightening. You don't know what to do about it.
Because I was at those last shows that you did at the Hammersmith Apollo. Me and my dad came to watch you. And it was, what struck me is, being as you've been such a physical comic down the years, because of your health issues, you were still, and yet still unbelievably brilliant. I couldn't believe how funny you were stationary as you had been kind of prowling around. It was the best.
You're only doing that because I'm not well. I've got Parkinson's disease, and I wish he fucking kept it to himself, but there you go.
Do you miss the travelling and doing stand-up?
I sometimes think I do. I sometimes wonder why I'm not going anywhere, but I don't miss it.
That surprises me. What don't you miss about it?
I used to love walking on the stage and getting that feeling that you're somebody else. You're not nervous anymore, and you just go and become this person, and it flies. And then you come off at the end, and it's lovely.
Where were your favourite places to perform as a stand-up?
I love Australia. I love performing at Sydney Opera House. I hold the record for 50 nights sold out.
Amazing. What about, I've always found Irish crowds as well were
Irish
incredible.
are brilliant. Scottish are great. Anywhere the living's hard, the audience is great.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, eh? What I love most about performing in those kind of strange places, I remember doing a gig in Australia, and there was a shop that was selling bongs, you know, like for hash.
Yeah.
Also, they were selling unicycles. And I just thought that was the best combination of just... Do you know what I mean? Of who smokes weed and thinks, I fancy riding a unicycle, that'll do.
I saw a store once, and it's made me smile for years. It was in Minnesota, and there was a shop in the street that said so-and-so, cheese and souvenirs. And it's making me laugh for years. I don't know why.
I am eternally grateful that we've been able to have this chat. It really means the world to me. Thank you so much for being on the show.
It's been a
A
pleasure.
real joy. What's the rest of your day looking like? What have you got on?
Nothing.
Fantastic. Well, there you go. Well, hopefully we'll cross paths.
Are you from Bath?
I am. I was born in Bristol.
I used to have such great fun in Bath.
Oh, it's the best, isn't it? What did you love about it?
We used to go out and get drunk in the Beehive.
I know the Beehive very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know where we should go? There's a pub called Tucker's Grave where the door opens on to the road. That's why it's called Tucker's Grave. And they have a cider that is thick and orangey. You know when you see like someone that's still that fake tan on, it's that kind of really. And I remember an uncle of mine when I was about 7 at a family party holding this pint up in front of me and going, I could drink 3 of these, kill you, and not know I'd done it. You know, there's a bloke that goes there with a rat on his shoulder.
I used
And
to
the
go
rat
to a pub
sits
in
from his
Glasgow
pipe.
where thieves went and sold their stuff. And I remember going in for a pee to the toilet, and there was a guy being measured for a coat. Standing with his arms out, being measured with a tape measure, and taking these details. Where they would do it in blue and brown. Would you like the full collar, right? They would steal in to measure.
Those kind of pubs don't exist as much as they used to now. Those kind
They
of
don't,
wild
it's
places.
a sad thing.
You just need a little bit of devilment in your life every so often. But yeah, let's do it. If you're in Bath, then I would absolutely love to take you down Tucker's Grave.
Great.
Awesome. Take care, my friend.
Nice talking
thanks so much
to you.
for that. Take care, mate.